Change. It's something that happens in life. It can be on a daily basis, it can be on a weekly basis, it can even be on an hourly basis. But change is something that always happens. Now, over the past few years, I've had a lot of change in my life. Fortunately, it's been more positive, but I'll explain how it became more positive and how I made it so that it wasn't a negative experience. Now, change is one of those things that it's like death and taxes. You can always count on paying your taxes and you know that everybody's going to die. Well, change is always going to happen as well. Now, a lot of time in my life when I was younger, I was looking to change certain things, but I sort of had this quick fix mentality, meaning that I was looking just so, I wanted that change so bad, I wanted it to happen as fast as it could, but I found out that, well, quick fix may not always be so positive. Now, in Webster's dictionary, change is defined as a noun, language arts teachers. I know I'm not talking about the verb form. As a noun, it has been described as a variation or a deviation. It's been described as variety or a novelty, or sometimes the substitution of one thing for another. Now, like I had said, in my younger life, I was always looking for that quick fix change. I felt that that was the best way for me to change my life. So, a passion when I was younger was working out, exercising, lifting weights. Now, in these two pictures here, they are two quick fixes in my life. The first, I picked up this book, I was probably 27. I really didn't like how I was working out. I really didn't like that I wasn't making progress, and I was reading all sorts of articles and magazines and this, that, and the other, and nothing seemed to help me out. And then Bill Phillips came into my life. Now, for those of you that don't know, Bill Phillips is the former CEO. He is the one that created EAS Sports Supplements. So, as I read through Bill Phillips's book, of course, what is he pushing? His supplement program. So, I go through, I read the book, and it's a competition. Well, I like competitions. I think this is a good idea. It's a 12-week. I think to myself, I can do 12 weeks. 12 weeks to transform your life from the body of old to the body of new. I thought, this is awesome. 12 weeks, I'm gonna have what I've always wanted. Now at 27, I'd say I've been working out for about 10 years. I think I started weightlifting around 17 or 18. So at 27, I was really looking for that change. I wanted that change. And Bill Phillips was gonna bring me that change. He had some really good ideas in his book, in my opinion. Ideas of how to look at your diet differently, ideas of how to look at your exercise program differently. And in support of all of that, to take these supplements that were going to speed up all of the good things that you did in the gym. Muscle recovery, speed up your time that you had to recover from your cardio workout and things like that. And I thought, this is awesome. So I went ahead and I bought the 12-week program. I won't tell you how much I spent on that because it was a little bit much. Anyways, Bill Phillips, I start working through it, and the exercises, I felt like they were working, but I spent an hour to sometimes an hour and a half in the gym. Now, even at 27, I'm still a young man and I still can move the world, but an hour to an hour and a half in the gym, that was a little bit much for me. And on top of that, I had to drink the pink drink. Yes, one of the main supplements he had was this protein powder along with this other ingredient. I can't even remember what they are right now. And it turned my shake pink. Not just pink, just like hot pink. And I was drinking it one day and I thought to myself, I just feel bloated. I don't really even feel like this is even working. So I gave it up and I never looked at Bill Phillips again. A few years later, as I was turning 30, I bought my first house. And at that time, I was also enrolled in my master's degree program. So I didn't feel as though I had enough time to go to a gym. Now, I have to say, again, I'm a sucker for quick fix. One day, as I was watching TV, you probably have noticed the second picture here, the Total Gym. I have to say, I'm a sucker for infomercials. Chuck Norris, Christy Brinkley, oh, they just explained that if you had this gym in your house, you could transform yourself within 8 to 12 weeks. Oh, it's going back to Bill Phillips. I'm on board. And I just need one machine, that's it. Sign me up. So I call, and for $39.95 a month, for I don't even know how many months it was, you can own the Total Gym. So, not really understanding the equipment itself, I did watch the instructional video that came with it, and I understood how to make the adjustments. Well, about a week and a half into working out with the Total Gym, I decided, I think I need a little bit more. This isn't quite enough for me. I'm used to lifting those weights in the gym. So the old machine used to have a bar that you could put free weights on, plates that you could put on. So I put those plates on and I was doing the exercise, whatever the heck it was. And what did I do? I damaged my shoulder. I get off the exercise, it pops, I can't really move it too well. I'm in a bit of pain at this point in time. And I end up 3 months later selling the Total Gym. Yes, I had paid it off first. So, quick fixes in exercise for me, not really a good thing. Now, another passion of mine in life, where quick fixes were the things that I was looking for, is for many of you may know that I play the drums. Well, I fell in love with playing the drums with 2 feet. I purchased my first set of double pedals about 15 years ago. And there was quite a learning curve. I had started playing with the double pedal. I'd started playing with 2 feet instead of 1. And I have to say, at first, it really transformed my playing. I saw a big change. Before, as I would sit and play, I played with just 1 foot on the bass drum. The other foot played on another instrument called the hi-hat. But the hi-hat, I only needed to move it every so often, where the bass drum, I was moving it all the time. And I developed a bad habit. I developed the left foot as more of what I call the kickstand. And with the kickstand, I could sort of lean in a position where I let my right foot go and I'm playing along and this, that, and the other, and I started to hunch. And I started to sort of move in a way that all of my weight now was on the kickstand. Well, when I got the double pedals, all of a sudden now, as I watched a tutorial video on it, you now had to square up your hips to the instrument and you had to figure out your balance. So all of your balance now comes from your core and in through your hips. Well, that was transforming in itself. I thought this was great, but I had a desire. I wanted to go faster. So I took those double pedals that I had and I traded them in, yes, for the quick fix. I must have gone through 7 different types of pedals to make me go faster, to have different adjustments all throughout the pedal itself to make it go faster. And eventually, all of these things led me to one thing: throwing my sticks across the practice room because I was so frustrated and I was so upset with myself because I couldn't go fast, that I stopped playing double pedal for at least a month. Now, all of these stories lead back to this theme of the quick fix. And again, I felt that the only way to change was to do it quickly. Now, to move from my personal to my professional side, About 10 years ago, here in the middle school, we decided that it was time for a change. And we needed to look at our schedule. At the time, our schedule did not allow for people to collaborate very often. And we put together a very large committee. And this very large committee eventually came up with an idea that we've put into place and we've had now here for about 10 years. So we've put in our schedule this time for us to collaborate during the day, but also providing us our prep period that we need as well. Now, in that particular change, that did happen fast as well. And that was sort of a very quick way for us to sort of look at how we could change the building. And we did it in about 4 months, I would say total. Once all the talk was over, it took about 4 months. Well, luckily, this change was lasting. But the effects of that change, the effects of that quick change, and seeming to tweak the schedule year after year after year, seemed to be very taxing on the school. And unfortunately, divided us up a bit. Divided us in such a way that maybe sometimes one part of the staff didn't feel as though they were part of the process as much. And so I learned from this experience that you may not be able to, change may need to happen, but when it happens so quickly, you don't always think of all the pieces that you can, that are part of this. Now, another sort of quick fix professionally is that a year ago, I ran for to be the president of the teachers union. I had all these ideas and I wanted to make sure that I got these ideas out there. And what I found was that I pushed too hard too fast and wanted that change to happen too fast. And because of that, I don't think my ideas and I don't think people sort of looked at what I wanted to do as something that could be as successful as I thought it could be. Unfortunately, I lost the race. But yet, I learned a valuable lesson there. The valuable lesson that I did learn is that I don't really think that you can do things to do it as a quick fix. Now, last summer, a very large life sort of altering experience happened to me. And through that experience, I developed what I'm going to call the life motto. My life motto is slow and steady. My life motto helps to keep me grounded and helps me to guide me through any change that I have. You see, last year, my mom, who's pictured here, passed away. She was only 71. And what I learned from her in her last days was that things don't happen quickly. But through time and over time, the change that is about to happen will be a good thing. Now, my mom in her life, this was about 20 some odd years ago. I'm graduating from college. It was probably one of the proudest days of her life. That was one of her life goals, was to make sure her sons went to college. And so here, smiling, having a great time. And a few years after that, unfortunately, she had developed type 2 diabetes and didn't take to the change very well. And over time, eventually, her condition weakened until we got to a point last year where unfortunately she had developed a brain tumor and had seized because of that, suffered a seizure, and then unfortunately 3 weeks later she had passed away. Now, what I learned from this experience is that I learned that, my mom was a very stubborn woman. I loved her dearly, but she was a very stubborn woman. And in her stubbornness showed that, it's okay to to change at a slower rate. It's okay to change yourself in a manner in which you can take it all in and not do things so quickly. And so through that experience, I had developed that life motto. And I had developed this idea that, you know what, whatever comes to me, I don't want to look at it through a negative lens. I want to look through it through a positive lens. And because I had had a lot of change leading up to my mom's death, I started to shift my perspective. And I started to shift that lens a little bit. Last year, I was told that I needed to now go from teaching 8th grade to go back to teaching 6th grade. Now, many teachers would have been very upset about this involuntary transfer. Candidate, because of the fact that I had taught 6th grade for 14 prior years to the 4 years that I taught up in the 8th grade. So I understood why I was chosen. And I decided last fall that I was going to take that life motto of slow and steady and look at this change in more of a positive light. And I did that fairly successfully this year. I really tried to look at what it is that I needed to do and how it was that I could be successful, taking something that could have been extremely difficult to handle and looking at it from a spot of, well, how does this change help me look at this more positively? I worked with a great partner this year. I think we did some great things together. Thank you, Jen. And I really feel that this slow and steady approach to change has really helped me to see life in more of a positive light. So what I'd like to leave you with today is I'd like to leave you with a picture of one of my favorite places in the world, Crane Beach. And when I look at Crane Beach, I always try to make sure to understand that this is a positive place for me. And this is the lens that I would like to always look through as I look at change. Hopefully after watching this talk, you'll try to look to see what your motto could be and try to look for a lens when change happens so that you can look at it in a more positive light. Thank you very much.